Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to NehaTripathiTalkShow. We have been trendsetters, and when it comes to fashion industry, when it comes to reviving the art form. And today we're going to talk something special about this fashion industry and a unique art form and a fashion form which Srutiza is running today. And we will be talking about why she started and how the journey has been so far, and the unique piece of art that she picked for herself as her own business venture. Why did she pick that? Now, why we are running this series with women entrepreneurs is we want to understand what is the performance and the mindset behind these women entrepreneurs who are running their solo business, solo ventures, and they are scaling up in this process. Sometimes it does happen that we come from a corporate background and we face certain situations where we want to give us a break and then revive ourselves, think through in that process what we want to do and explore that with a bigger risk of losing the career behind and a bigger challenge to take up to scale up in the industry. And ladies and gentlemen, the guest for today is Srutiza. Srutiza, tell us about yourself, the work that you are doing, and the unique piece of art that you are running your venture with.
So hi everybody, I am Srutiza and I'm the founder designer of Risham jewelry. What I do is create handcrafted pieces in an art form called bead weaving. So this is requires multiple or hundreds of beads woven with a needle and a thread to create unique pieces. So why this art form? So when I was working, I just chanced upon this art form online and I realized how unique and beautiful and intricate the pieces were. And so then I thought that, okay, fine, why don't I actually learn it? So when I started learning and realized that there's a huge history behind it, it's not just, what it is now. It has a lot of stories and a lot of history behind it, and especially in India, where the art form actually was used mostly as home decor pieces. We should have seen a lot of people actually come and tell me, oh, you know what, our grandmothers used to do it, or our parents my mom used to do this.
Something
and I've seen small small
elder generation was using
elder
it,
gen
are not,
yes.
not using.
Yeah, it's not used anymore. They used to make small pieces of home decor like dolls for these, these events and these functions, and especially marriage trousseau or something like that. So that's how I realized, okay, this has a history even in India. It's not only international or global or anything like that. It has a history in India also. But it was mostly used as home decor. So what I tried to do is I tried to learn out, different stitches and different techniques where I can use this art form to create jewelry, to create contemporary jewelry, which, people like us, modern women going to work or even at home or even going for festivals, something like that, people can wear them. Okay. So most of my jewelry is a classic design, but with a contemporary twist.
Okay, so modern women of this generation who are going to office, we sometimes are, in the complex thought, okay, shall I buy this because this might go with the sari but not the black top.
Exactly. So, so the jewelry pieces that I make are, I know. So the jewelry pieces that I make, the same piece, you can wear it with everything. It's not, very restricted to only Indian wear or only Western wear or only fusion wear. These pieces are very versatile. And I think people have multiple times told me, your pieces, I can just wear it with anything. So that's the beauty of it.
Okay. So Srutiza, before you jumped into this business, tell us about your journey that you had prior to that, where you worked with the corporates.
So I'm a software engineer by profession. I worked for 16 years in the software industry, and I changed jobs, multiple companies, and I was doing really well. So there's nothing wrong with the industry or something. It's just that, but there's something inside me that said, I should move out and try out something new and try out this journey of entrepreneurship. I was very inclined.
Doing this journey while you were in corporate?
Yes, I did start out, as in I did start out, making small things, selling very small, as in I'd be just one piece a month or something like that. But I used to sell. So I've been doing this for the last 10 years, long before I even quit my job. But then it was very less, it's just from one piece a month, two pieces a month. Somebody says, then people wait. Okay, we'll wait for it, for you to finish and send it. So it has been interesting.
So what's the history behind this piece of unique art?
Originally, as I mentioned earlier, this art form was traditionally used in India in home decor. Basically, this art form is global. It's a global art form in all different types of, on all countries, basically, starting from South America to the Europe region to Africa to India. But every region did its own take on this art form. So like, South Americans have this very colorful beaded work. Africans have a very different style of beadwork. So that all that beadwork is what this is. So there are different techniques to what you do, each in a different way. So in India, we stuck to home decor, but in probably in Africa, you have those huge netted neck pieces and headgears, like Egyptians and all had these huge headgears, had even beaded dresses. So that's what this art form is. But then you don't see them now simply because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort. Then somehow in between, the entire thing of jewelry became an investment rather than a piece of, which you can wear and enjoy and look nice. So that's where, there was a slide. But then I think things are changing and people are looking at jewelry as also not necessarily as an investment, but something which they like how clothes are. You don't wear clothes.
So, okay, so I understand that there's a history behind, and they used to, and I've also seen your jewelries, and I think it requires a lot of time and effort, and also the synchronization of the design. So these are like different colors of small beads, and how these has to be aligned in, and then the final shape that needs to be given. You know, if few beads are here and there, the entire structure goes away, right?
Exactly. Yes, you have to be careful. So it goes through the entire process of jewelry making. Like you have to create a pattern, you have to graph the pattern, you have to create the different shapes, create the different components, join them together, and then you have it. So it's
Okay.
typical jewelry making. Yes.
Learned it for yourself while you were working, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And while you were working, you created it with your hand, and you sold it maybe like one piece a month. But then you did that work and you sold it.
Yes.
And how was the
Absolutely.
response then?
So the response was good. So the people knowing it were also less. So it used to be friends of somebody saw it somewhere online and then they thought it was good. So that's what encouraged me. Yes, there is a market for this. There is some amount of response. People do like this product, probably because people were not aware of it. So the response was less. But then I think once people became aware and know that something like this exists, I think people are more open to it.
Okay. So let me connect to the business mindset that we have currently as of now, and I see that in a lot of my interactions with different people around. So now people are very much particular about what the market should be, what the need is, and where you should target. So what I felt from this conversation is it was entirely driven by the interest that you had in this beautiful piece of art. So in these bead jewelry, you had interest, you saw that the complexity, but still you were interested. But then now you said that the friends of friends. So initially you might have faced the lack of customer for yourself. Did that shake your interest anywhere?
No, I don't think so, because somewhere in my mind it was there that this is going to work. But also the thing is that I have always had this thing that I have to start something, and I have to start somewhere. So this became my somewhere. So I wanted to do this. Let me see how it goes. See, the entire business ecosystem is it changes, and there's change every day. So it's not like it's a fixed thing that it has to, it's not, if it's not working today or if it's not working tomorrow, I know that I can move forward and do something else, you know. So that has to be the mindset. For, I think in business, you have to be ready for change. So for me, this was somewhere where I can start off and do how it works and see how it works and then move forward.
Interesting. So this thought was actually interesting, where you said it has to start sometime and it has to start somewhere. But still, you were figuring out few things, but then you thought that okay, it has to start somewhere, and let it start with this.
Absolutely.
With the journey, as the journey progresses ahead, you will diversify, but let it begin somewhere. So that's an interesting takeaway, I think, for me today, because a lot of time we are stuck with perfection. It has to be perfect. It has to be this way. I imagined it this way, but it's not the exact this way. So let me hold on to it a little longer. And that is where we miss out on somewhere.
Exactly.
Right.
So I remember one of the conversations I had with somebody, and they said, did you do a market study before, launching this business? I said, if I would have done a market study then, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, there are some products, I think, where you don't need a market study, especially in handcrafted or handmade stuff. Somehow it doesn't work. And because something like this, I was creating a market. There was no market existing before. So for me, that conviction in my mind that I have to create this market and I know this is going to sell. Okay. So was there always.
Okay, so yes. Perspective here. You said I was creating the market. So the perception as of now is, this is the market, check your market, see if you have already a market for this. But there's a different mindset to this altogether, which you just said, you were creating the market for this. Right.
So yeah, it might not sound very, to business people, it might not sound very nice, as in they might be thinking I'm too impulsive, but I guess that's how it began. So
I think,
yes.
Let me now maybe drill down a little deeper to whom this mindset can appeal to. So this mindset, I think, will definitely appeal to people who work out of their interest and passion purely. If you have an interest in certain field, that interest can't be changed, right?
Right.
You work on that, you will figure out solutions for yourself, because that interest remains constant. And then you have to create your product around it. Then you have to create your market around it. I think people who are purely driven by their core interest and passion can only relate to this, because I think for me, I have certain interest, and that will never change. I might compromise on certain other things, but interest is interest.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
But into that, we have learned that how to using those beads, needle and thread, how to create, compile those things together and create a piece out of it. So
Absolutely.
Interest is something that stays there.
Yes.
But then you explore on different perspectives and angles.
Okay. Yeah, so that comes at a later stage, yes. You explore, see whether it works, go through the entire process. So you try it out. I think you should always try it out.
Yes. So can we have a few pieces for us to see, like, and how do you do that? How do you plan the entire design part and structure it, and then you put out as a single piece together? So we have
sure. Yes, absolutely. So I have something here. So if you'll see here, so this is it's like a statement piece. It's quite big. It's made of 2 panels, right? So these panels are done using a bead loom. It's a weaver, like how you have a weaver's loom. There's something called a bead loom. It follows the same concept, but it is having beads along with the thread. So this is made of like multiple components. So these panels are done separately. Then you have the bottom part, which is again stitched after the panels are done, right? And then you have the clasp at the behind. So something like this, you have to do it in multiple pieces, and the design part of this panel has to be first made. So you have to create.
You design it yourself. How do you do
it? The design.
You design it yourself?
Yes, I designed it myself. So all the panel designs I create. So there are tools for doing it, and also there are graph sheets and for for different type of stitches, you have different sheets where you can color, like, you know, you have a color and pencil and color it out and create patterns of your own, and then put it, and then it gives you a graph chart. So it gives you a numbered chart. Then you follow the chart. So, and then I also have, so that is one type of design.
How much time did this piece, which you just showed us, how much time did this piece take?
So it takes at least a few days, 2 to 3 days, because they are done in different. So you have to first do both the panels first, then put the, you know, put all the threads inside, and then you do the bottom part of it. So around 2 to 3 days.
Interesting, but this seems quite complex, and just 2 to 3 days it's done.
Yes, so you have to do it continuously. Yes, but it's not like it takes, I wouldn't say 5 to 6 days, but if you really sit through it, I think you can finish it within 2 to 3 days.
Okay, that's interesting. Another any other piece we have?
Yes, so that's a different style of jewelry, and something like this. So again, this is a, you know, you stitch. This is a central stone, focal stone that is there, and then you stitch around it. And this is actually done with a backing, whereas that one did not have a backing on behind it. This is done with a backing, and then you have the, you know, the fringe part of it at the bottom. And this is something called the beaded thread or the beaded rope, where a chain part of a jewelry, whatever you see, you know, where you put it on the neck, that is actually woven. So it creates a chain like this.
Okay.
So this is a different style.
One question, because with some neck pieces, I do have this issue. So my hair gets dangled.
Exactly.
So is it comfortable with people who want to keep a hair open and then put this jewelry piece?
Absolutely. It's not only comfortable, it is very light. So what happens is, one, you avoid any, it's light. Second, you avoid any sort of allergic reactions, because these are beads. You are not going to get allergy out of that. Okay. And third, they're very long lasting. As in, I have had jewelry that I made 10 years back, and they still are there and they are not broken. And even if sometimes, you know, because of something, there's something happened and it has broken, you can easily mend it. Whereas with metal jewelry, you cannot mend it. Right. So, and they are quite heavy.
Torn, we can redo it. You can.
Yes, you can redo it if there's something which is broken here or something like that in small piece. So you know, okay, fine, it has broken, but then you can stitch it back. It's needle and thread, like it's like cloth, right? So cloth, you can stitch it back. You can fix it. So things like this, yes.
Okay. So we do have these two varieties. Apart from that, in jewelry section, do we have some other things as well? Pieces?
Yeah, so I make bracelets also, like, you know, some things like this. So this is interesting because this has a metal backing to it. So it's a metal cuff which has a panel in the top. So this is a different style altogether. So you create the panel separately. You have a metal background back to it, so just to give it more structure, and then have the panel attached to the cuff. I also have earrings which I create using this style. So something like this.
Okay.
So so these are, again, you know, different designs, and then you have something at the bottom fringe, something like that. So, and I also create keychains, key rings, personalized key rings in the same woven technique.
Interesting. And we have any hand woven interior decor products as well?
No, I don't do interior decor because decor pieces are relatively not, because I stick to jewelry. So decor pieces not necessarily as much, but I do stick to jewelry mostly.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, the corporate experience which you had for like 16 years, how easy was it, or maybe why did you exactly take this decision to finally, you know, give a halt to that and then start this new journey altogether? Because you said while you were in the corporate, you were also doing it. So why this break completely altogether and then into this business?
So as I mentioned, I always wanted to do something. So there's to be always this, you know, when should I leave? When should I quit and start something of my own? And that decision always there, because in corporate you are there and you know how it works. It's comfortable. You get the money that comes in. But there was a point wherein I had a baby. Then I realized, okay, I think this is the right time. So, it's both personal and professional. So personally, so I could take care of my baby, and professionally because this is the right time for me to quit and start something else, because I know it's a it's a life changing thing at that decision. So I don't know, it just came through at that right point, and I think it was the perfect thing to do.
Amazing, amazing. So we have a website or stores, or we have some workshops happening any time soon, so we can drop by and get a look to more products, or we have any gallery where we can visit.
So I have my own website, www.shoprisham.com. So you can buy online there. I am also there on jaipur.com, a few of my stuff. I am also there on my Instagram and my social media, Facebook pages, that is Risham Jewelry. So people can DM me there and then, ask me what they would like. I also customize pieces for people depending on the colors they want and the designs they want. So that's one part of my business which really does well, because people do look for customizations. So majority of my sales are customizations. I also do workshops. So I'm planning one, I think probably in the month end, or probably in April. I also do one-to-one workshops where you can just message me and then we can do a one-to-one. Otherwise, I do group workshops.
Okay, so you take them through the entire training process on how we can learn and do it?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a basic workshop wherein I teach the basic stitches that you can start off with, and then after that they can pick it up on their own. So it's just the basic stuff that you need to learn, and how it goes, what to do, how to do it.
Interesting, interesting. So Srutiza, to sum up this conversation of ours, I would like to have just a few round of questions towards the end. One, how has been the role of mentors in your life?
So when I first started, I couldn't find any mentors, because I was from the corporate background, and it was suddenly very difficult for me to understand from where to get them. But then over time, I think I joined some of the networking groups, and that's where, I found people whom I could connect with and learn from them, and made friends. So mentors are very important. I would say that they really help you in moving forward. So starting is not enough, right? You need to move forward, you need to scale up. So that's where the mentors actually come in.
And how has been your support system? Family, friends, in-laws, mother, father, everyone?
So family has been supportive. Initially, as there were doubts, how could you leave your job and do something like this and start off? Because obviously you're leaving your well-paying job and starting off something like this. But then over time, I think they have come around to it. My husband does help me in my work, and my sister is also around. So, that ways they have all been helpful and been there. If I have to go out, then, they are there, go for events. So they're always there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Srutiza, for being here on this episode of ours, where we try to understand the mindset of these entrepreneurs. And yes, for the audience, we will be sharing with you all the details where Srutiza will be conducting the workshop, all her social media handles, her website and everything. So you can check the comment section box where we'll be sharing every detail. And thank you, Srutiza, for sharing your inspiring journey with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.